Hello guys, and welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. My name is James, and today we're going to go ahead and sit down and talk to you guys about all the latest news in regards to Reading Football Club. Now, last night it was announced at about 11:15 by Anthony Smith, who's quite a reliable person in terms of Reading news, that a takeover is potentially coming soon to Reading Football Club. Now, there's been reports as well that Di Young was at Bearwood today, and there's a lot of reports around who potentially could be taking over. Now, throughout this video today, we're going to go ahead and take a look at one of the potential takeovers kind of favourites for Reading Football Club. Now, this is 777 Partners, who were a group that were founded in 2015 by US businessmen Joshua C. Wanda and Stephen W. Pascoe. Now, today we did go ahead and do a little bit of research on this video from josimar.com. JossimarFootball.com, should I say. They did an article on 777 Football and about July this year, so it's relatively new information that we have here, so it's quite up to date really. Now, 777 currently holds stakes in a lot of football clubs. You've got the likes of Spain's Sevilla, Germany's Hertha Berlin, Italy's Genoa, France's Red Star, Belgium's Standard Liège, Brazil's Vasco da Gama, and you've got Australia's Melbourne Victory. 7 clubs in 7 different countries. Now, to me, the alarming thing though is that kind of every single ownership of their clubs have kind of followed the same trajectory and the same 3 steps. Now, the one specific example that we're going to go ahead and take a look at today is Vasco da Gama, and that is potentially where it has gone the worst so far for the club. Now, just a little bit of beforehand, they've had issues with HMRC, or not HMRC, but paying their taxes before. Now, with Genoa, they own a 99.9% stake in the club and actually had a 1-point deduction in the middle of last season. This came from the Italian Federation after Genoa missed out on paying their income taxes on December the 16th. Now, Genoa were relegated to Serie B 2 seasons ago, but were promoted again last season. And the rumour around 777 hearing that Reading were up for sale was actually during the George Puskas transaction earlier on this season. Now, is this something that's 100% true? I'm going to sit here and say no, I'm not sure. But this is just the rumour that's flying around. And listen, we're here to report kind of the news for you guys. And yeah, let's talk about this 777 group. So going into the Vasco da Gama situation, it kind of followed a 3-step process like we said before. Now, the 3-step method is that the first act is always hope, the second act is a reality check, and a third act is disappointment. Now, when Vasco were bought, it was seen as the biggest transaction in Brazilian football history. 70% of the club shares were bought for 700 million Brazilian reais, which kind of equates to about 115 million pounds as of today on the exchange rate. Now, 190 million of the 700 was paid in 2022, with 70 million seen as a loan to sort out the club's bills and to kind of see it as a cash injection as well. Now, Joshua Wanda, who was one of the businessmen that founded the group in 2015, promised the Vasco da Gama fans that their club would no longer be under a financial disadvantage from their rivals. Now, as soon as this came, they were relegated in 2020-2021. Now, they were promoted again the following season, finishing 4th in Serie B in Brazil. But as I'm writing this now, or as I wrote my notes and as I'm talking to you now, they're currently 20th once again in the league and rock bottom of Serie A, claiming 9 points in 16 games. Now, that was kind of the first step of kind of the hope where they got promoted. There was a cash injection. They were able to kind of build and get new players in, right, and sort out the club's bills. Cash problems then followed the club, and most of the money that was put in by 777 appears to have gone on debt paying and the payment of arrears, leaving little to improve the squad. Now, it wasn't just that, but also creditors have started to line up and demand payments to clubs who have sold players to Vasco. Now, that again is something that is quite alarming to me, as obviously Reading have struggled with their HMRC tax bills currently, and if they've got creditors that are demanding payment for players that they have bought, it seems to be a little bit of a worrying situation if they are to take over at Reading. Now, obviously with Reading, we haven't paid a transfer fee for someone in a very long time, and finances are probably different to English football compared to Brazilian First Division football. Reading have kind of gone on this route of free transfers, and that's because they've been unable to sign anyone, right? Is it going to be the case where they'll start spending massively? Probably not. Is it going to be a case of where creditors will be knocking on the door? I hope not. Now, look, the third step obviously is the disappointment, and that's the demand of these clubs waiting to get these payments, right? As of June, they still hadn't received the payments. Obviously, I'm sat here at the end of July, start of August. I don't know whether they've received them payments yet, but the fact that this company has taken over this Brazilian club, they've promised them all of these special things and haven't delivered on any of them is worrying. And especially worrying because of all of the rubbish that Reading have been through recently, right? Anton Zingarovic, we've had the ties, we've had obviously Dai Young and Daiji, like his sister, or Lee, whatever it is, but it's just disappointing, right? I actually saw a video that I made originally when Dai Young came into the club, and I was excited because we were talking about this investor and how great he was, but we did talk about how he failed his fit and proper test from the Premier League, and that was worrying. And obviously it's still worrying now because we don't know whether our football club's going to survive. We truly don't. Now, the rumour was he was at Bearwood today. Some people were saying he was showing around new owners. Some people were saying he was just there to play a round of golf. I'm not sure why he was there. Fingers crossed it was to finalise a sale with someone that wasn't 777. Because personally, I don't want to see them come to the club. Listen, if they do, obviously we'll get the back in for now. But whether they're the right people, I'm not 100% sure. It's going to be it for this video though, guys. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Apologies, it's been a little bit different. We just did a bit of research really into 777 partners, just to see really who they were, as obviously they're set to take over Reading, and we need to kind of report for you guys. That's going to be it for this one. Thank you for watching. I've been James, and we'll see you all hopefully soon for some good news. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.